going? This is Royal with Talks on Central RTB style, and we have Sharky in
in
the
the house.
house. And tonight we're going to do a car care tip show. So what's
We
up with you,
absolutely
Sharky? How
are,
you
oh,
been, man?
man.
What's going on with you, man?
Doing good, doing good. Staying busy and completing my mobile unit so I can keep moving on and moving forward. Um, I'm starting to pick up on the mechanic mobile unit one.
Unit one and growing,
And
yeah.
growing, but I'll tell you what, I've been busy, man. I mean, they've been calling me from Los Fresnos, La Feria. Heck, I had a call from McAllen the other night. I was like, that's a bit too far. I'm kind of sticking to Cameron County right now, but
Yeah.
eventually, I'll keep it growing. If it's working the way it keeps growing, hey, the there's no limits, you know. As
Yeah.
the people need help, and you know what? You know the reason people are calling, and I've talked to quite a bit of people, and they don't mind paying a little bit more for you going to their homes to do the job. And the
Right.
reason for that is because people tend to send their vehicles to a mechanic
Right.
shop, and
Oh
the
yeah.
problem with that is it can be 2 3 days, a week, a month, and they haven't even touched your car, and that's bad because people need their cars back. A lot of times
Yeah.
people they work, they use their car for work, so they borrow a car, and you can't borrow a car for a month,
For
2 months,
a
3 months,
long time. Yeah,
right?
that's
Or
true.
you can't rent it for that long either. So I mean, you expect a job not to go on after a week, unless
Yeah.
it's something major, but there's no reason for that. So yeah, I can understand why people are pretty good about mobile mechanics, and it's picking up. I'm seeing a lot of people starting to do that, but you have to be careful who you call
Oh
and
no.
that they know what they're doing. Yes, because on the downside, you've got everybody and their and their mother trying to acting to be mechanics when they don't know what they're doing. And the problem with that is they can damage your vehicles if they don't know what they're doing. They can damage components. They can damage computers. And the problem is that some of these parts are thousands of dollars. So you want to get somebody who you can trust, somebody who you can have word of mouth that they've done jobs for other people. A referral. That way you know that it's somebody that knows what they're doing, and they're not just saying, "Oh yeah, yeah, I know how to do it," and deep down inside they don't know anything about how to use a wrench or a hammer.
Wow. No,
so
it's good as that.
so
That's
you have to
insane.
be yeah, you have to be careful. But you know what? It's not just about mobile mechanics not knowing what they're doing. It happens with national companies as well. You go to the Quick Lube, you go to you know that Monkey Lube where they change the oil and stuff, and they tell you, hey, you know what? Or you send your wife, your sister, your mom to change the oil. Next thing you know, they come home and they say, hey, they say I need the air filters. They say I need the PVC valve. They say I need this. By the time they're done, they're up to 800, $1,000. How many people have gone through that? To where
Yeah.
you're just going for an oil change and you come home, you got your mom, sister coming home saying, "Hey, you know what? My car's it's about to give out because they told me that if I don't put in 800 to $1,000 in parts, it's not gonna last because bien traumadas." And the bad part is it's not true. A lot of times that's not true. All they're trying to do is upsell. They're trying to upsell services.
Dice Hector, do you charge a fee for coming to my house in San Antonio? Yes. You have to feed them and house them and uh, give them a big tip.
I know, and I only fly first class.
And it only flies first class. Good evening, Sharky. Yeah, good evening, Royal. How's it going? ¿Cómo te va? No, no. I
este,
mean, yeah, maybe later. Maybe later. I think right now
yeah,
Sharky's trying to focus on the RGV.
I
Trying,
am.
trying to go from working on a shop that he's been working for a while with his buddies, and then all of a sudden now he's wanting to do this because he sees the need of a one-in-one in your home and that way your vehicle, it's there, and a lot of times maybe you can use it and all that, right? I mean,
Right. In other words, it's getting service right there and then. You don't have me coming to your home, and a week later I'm still coming back to. No. It's a job that if it's gonna be a day or two, then you know what, they're gonna know up front it's gonna be that long. It's not gonna be to where what, you're gonna have a car lifted with the tires all off and stuff for 2 weeks or whatever, because it's not something that you can do at a neighborhood anyway. So
yeah, yeah. No, but in there's safety issues because the safety of your car. You go to some shop and they might not have, uh, you know, somebody might break in and steal it. Somebody may break in and do some
right,
damage to it. Maybe this guy has his buddies come in and they get drunk and a fight starts, broken
yeah,
window, this and that. The insurance liability issues. Maybe your car's waiting and the part's there, but he's waiting in line to get fixed.
right,
Because there's also that deal. I mean, maybe the guy's doing a good job, but he's got cars ahead of you. Your car's waiting in line to get
right,
fixed. And so when it's one on one, Sharky will go in there and do his business. Boom, boom, boom. If he needs to order a part, well, he'll go home. When the part comes in, he'll come in and he'll fix the car. Caro está parado, pero at least it's at home and it's safe, and it's a better environment. You don't have to worry about getting a ride, whatever. I mean, you probably only problem is what other car can I use while the car gets fixed. But I think the
right.
most part, the repairs will take a shorter amount of time if you do it one on one than if you go through a dealership or something like that, right?
Definitely, definitely.
I mean,
And
would you say that's
I
so?
yeah, definitely, because what I've had the last couple of times is I've talked to some people that I've done jobs for, and they tell me that they've called other people, hey Norman, that they went and they did a job for them, and this is where I'm saying you got to be careful who you call. The lady called this person who said they were a mechanic, and they went and apparently tried to fix the car, and they did more damage than good to the car. And the problem is, then they changed their number. They wouldn't answer
Mm.
the calls and stuff.
So they took some money in,
Right.
como
And
que they
through the cook,
scammed it.
right.
Oh man.
Right. And then she had a second person look at her car. And that second person said, well, I already fixed your part, and I don't need for you to be calling. It's already been fixed. You got other problems. But the lady,
Are you serious?
yeah. And it happens. It happens. That's why you got to be careful who you call.
Wow.
Um, because people are like that. They carry a little toolbox that they're not even a professional mechanic. They don't have the equipment, and they with that little toolbox they go in and they claim to be make professional mechanics, that they can take care of something that they can't do. And the problem with that is they get the money and run. You won't see them again. They won't answer the phone. They won't, and it happens quite often.
Call
That's
me.
why you gotta
49.95 to go to your house, and you gotta feed me lunch, but for 79.95, I'll do 2 visits per year. Make sure your car is in good shape. But send me the money now, okay? I got a tool. It's full. I don't know. I still need to pack it. But yeah, that's what you're saying. This look kind of professional.
yeah,
uh,
the
I bought it just for
the the one I did see was somebody carrying a tackle box for fishing with tools inside.
Oh,
And I was
no
like, okay. I was like, okay. Pero pobrecito, some people, they don't have the money to be throwing around at different people.
yeah,
So for them to get scammed, it's sad, because
yeah.
they already gave out money. Yeah, they don't have enough money to really fix their car.
Well,
So
let me ask you, Sharky. Let me interrupt you here. Now,
yeah,
okay, okay. I have my car. There's something wrong with my car. I give you a call and I tell you, hey, I live at XYZ, Zebra Street. Come on over. Okay, so now you're at my house. You're knocking on my door, and so how does that interview start?
okay. I introduced myself. First of all, on the phone, I introduced myself. I gotta let you know, hey, depending on where you live, there's going to be a surcharge because I'm driving all the way to your home. And if nothing gets done, you've got to pay me the visit,
Right.
which is usually about $25.
Right.
Now, if I do the work, I'm going to deduct that amount and put it into the amount. So
Right.
let's say that it's a $60, $70 job. I will discount that service charge. Now, another thing is I'm gonna examine the situation. I'm not gonna take the word of the person and say, you know what, we're just gonna change this or the master cylinder or the booster or whatever. I can't. I gotta examine the car, because if I go and do just the part they told me and it's not it, hey, you're the one that told me to change the part, but I don't want to end up in a situation where it's gonna be, well, no, you said no, or you're the mechanic. No, I'd rather check the car myself and come up with a conclusion that, okay, yeah, it's the master cylinder, or yeah, it's the booster, before I touch it, before I go in and change a part, or before you end up going to spend on a part. Now, if you order a part online and you already have it and you just want me to install it, that's fine. I'll install it, but there's no warranty.
Wow.
Yeah. And another thing is depending on the type of a job, because remember, I'm a mobile mechanic. So
Right.
I cannot handle every single job.
Yeah,
There's
that's true.
jobs.
That's true.
There's jobs that will require for you to have a press or a shop for you to, install bearings or take out bearings. But if I can't do it, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna tell you, you know what? I can't do this. I don't have the press or I don't have the equipment necessary for that. But I will refer you to somebody who can do it.
Mm.
So I'm all
And at that point, the customer feels a little bit better,
right.
because one, they didn't get taken. Two, they're getting a recommendation
Right.
of a shop that has all the tools where like you would be working. But let me ask you this: what are the most common jobs that you can do, or that I mean, give me a list of all the jobs that you can
Well,
do.
it would basically be tune-ups, brakes, checking diagnostics on your car, the noises, the coolant, your fan stops working, your computer. Once I'm in the process of getting a scanner, a car scanner, so that I can check the car computer and everything. That way, it tells me what the situation is going on with the electrical, and that'll tell me if there's a sensor wrong, if there's a computer damage, or if there's some malfunctioning parts and stuff. And also with that scanner, I'm going to be able to make and program keys, the little sensor keys and stuff for the cars, the chips.
Wow,
So that's another. It's going to be another plus to where if you need a spare key, I can
you
make
can do
that.
it.
Yeah.
Orderly. So that and what would that run?
Well, I don't know yet. I need to get the scanner first, see how it works before I go and jump and doing anything. So to verify and make sure that it's going to be working right.
But more than likely, it'll be cheaper than going to the dealership.
Oh,
I'm
oh,
sure
most definitely.
because you don't have the end market, the
Right.
markup in the
Yeah,
sense.
most
So
definitely.
if a dealership, maybe it's $300, or how much would it cost
No,
at a
no,
dealership to
you're
get a key?
no, you're looking at $500-$600, the keys,
To make
because
a key, Sharky,
they
that's
la-
low.
they laser cut them and they program them, and that's how much they're charging.
$5 bills?
Yeah,
No way! I'm in the wrong business, dude.
yeah, it's expensive, dude. It's expensive. That's
So
why a
so
lot of.
even if you charge $300, that seems outrageous. It's still a bargain.
I'll be honest with you, it'll be under three, easy.
Wow.
I just gotta make sure that the scanner that I got can
Is it
handle
good?
the different vehicles, and it's got the capacity to program and everything with no issues, no glitches. But
Because
once.
how often do people need keys, Sharky?
You know what? It doesn't seem like it happens regularly, but people do need it. Once you start advertising, I mean, if people need it, a lot of the cars, used cars and stuff that they sell, they'll give you one key,
Yeah, y la
and then
pierdes.
they hold on to one key in case they need to repo. And a lot of times they won't release the second key. You go back and they don't know what happened to it, which I doubt it, but it happens a lot. And then on new vehicles, si pierdes una llave, or let's say you broke your key, then you can replace it. You can buy the key,
Right.
and we can program them and stuff.
Oh, okay. I see. But
Yeah,
then also you can buy the key yourself, and then
yeah,
I mean, retail that save the consumer some money there as well,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay,
Now,
so that bueno, síguele, Sharky.
now another thing is the brakes, brake pads, brake calipers, brake hoses. You got the coolant, you got the radiators, you've got. I mean, there's tons of parts in cars that you can still work on. It's just a heavier duty stuff like the bearings, the hub bearings. Some of them now are actually hubs, which you can replace with. I can do it with no problem. I don't need a press. I don't need this and that. So if it doesn't require that, then definitely I can do it. Now, if it requires a press, then I can't. I'm not even gonna attempt it because
Right,
why am I gonna put myself and the person in a situation where you know what I've got them holding for 3 4 days because the shop is busy or they don't have space for me to work and I'm not
right,
gonna do that.
right,
I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna overwhelm myself with something that I can't handle just to be greedy. That's not the way it
right.
works.
Yeah, cool. And so yeah, because you're now. Let me ask you this. So, in your portable vehicle, or your portable shop that you have, I guess, jacks and all of that to lift the car.
Yeah, I have the jacks, I have the ramps, I have the tools, I have. Hey, Alberto, I have the ramps, I have the brakes setup for pressing the calipers. I have um. There's 3 sets or 4 sets of the different pulleys and stuff. For the pulleys for the gears, but the big press I don't have that, and I don't really want to do that because that's for mobile. It doesn't really work. It's too much space and too heavy to add
Right.
it up.
But like for instance, you got a couple of jacks, like for instance, rotator
Yeah.
tires.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
you
definitely.
know, maybe
Check
like make sure,
noises and stuff.
like brakes, check. Cámbiale los brake pads. That kind
Right.
of deal. Those are
Right.
jobs that sometimes like I wouldn't know how to do that. I mean, I can change the tire, but then you get into problems with the brake lines. Y cosas, that's something that you can do in house right there and then,
Yeah.
right? It's
Another
the it's
another thing I recently got. Another thing I recently got. I got the impacts, the half-inch impacts for the tire lugs, and I got the 3/8. I got the. I mean, I'm starting to complete the set, but I'm still kind of like, okay, hold on. I need that's right now. I need the socket set for the sensors, for the O2 sensors, there's like 5 of them. Once I get that, then I'm down with that. It's like a list, and you check it off as you go along.
right, right, right.
But you know what? So far, I mean, I've had boosters, I've had master cylinders, I've had tune-ups, I've had just regular oil changes. You won't believe I've done oil changes over in Rio Hondo and charged $35. But you know what? Left the customer happy, and she's ready to, whenever he needs it. And another thing I offer
And how long did
is
that take, Sharky?
well, it takes approximately about 30, 35 minutes because you got to drive over there and back and stuff. And I
No, no,
recover
but
the
once you're
oil.
there, how long does it take
Yeah.
once you're there?
You're looking about 25 minutes, 20 minutes.
1 hour at the most, that kind of deal.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Depending on if
Now,
they've got
let
like
me
an
ask you.
area.
Let me interrupt you with that, Sharky. Is is that our? ¿Cómo te diré? Does that save the customer time and obviously money, I guess, or maybe it's about the same? But does it save the
Well,
customer time? Because
well,
that's
yeah,
the
it saves them a lot of time, and they don't have to spend on driving all the way to town from over there to go get their oil change or go wait in line at Walmart or the lube place. Uh, you know, Instead you've got somebody coming to your house doing it in your driveway, and at the same time, he's not gonna make a mess. He's gonna clean up everything that you take care of.
And
The
at the
way
same
you
time, you're trusting a mechanic that's going to be working on your car versus you go into the Jiffy Lube and
right,
something goes wrong with your car. That they're not going to fix it because you're going to take it to another mechanic or you're going to take it to a dealership or you're going to take it somewhere else. And so there's no trust until you start working with them. And this
right,
way, they already know you and they go, okay, well, they're willing to call you to do other jobs.
yeah.
Este,
Like recently, what I had this customer who called and he's like, "Hey, I can't find the battery to my van." So can you help me? And I'm like, yeah. Well, it turned out that I mean, he told me the VIN and the type, and I was like, yeah, it's in the inside the bumper area on the fender. So I had she was already midways taking it off. So I was gonna charge him 25 because I was nearby, but I noticed that he was near already pulling the battery out, and I gave him a discount. I was like, you know what? You've got it half out. I'm gonna give you a discount instead, and I'm still gonna help you.
Pues sí, está bien, so, no, qué bueno.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. Dice Alan, I mean, what about this? Dice Alan, what do you think of fixed? It tells you what's wrong with your car. Have you ever heard? I guess it's an app.
Yes, I have. I have. Let me tell you one thing. The little chips that they tell you to put on the scanners they tell you to put on your cars, which is by Verizon, the fixed. It's not a good thing to leave those apparatus put on your car at all times. It can damage your computers in your cars, or it can make something malfunction. It's not meant to. You're not meant to drive around with those things on there. It overheats the system.
So it's just meant to use when you need to in the information that it's going to provide.
Right.
Sácalo.
Right. Right. But a lot of times they advertise that no, you can leave it in there and whenever you need to check your app and stuff. Well, yeah, but it's running at all times. So by running at all times, it's overheating the circuitry, which isn't meant to run 100%.
Órale. Wow.
It's meant to just test your vehicle and take it off.
Wow. Now let me ask you this: what's the biggest job you've done so far on the road?
Well, I've only been doing probably I want to say 2-3 weeks now, and so far it's been throttle body. I took it all apart, cleaned it, and that was over in Los Restos. And that was one of the ones that it wasn't working correctly, the truck, and we got it going, but it was pretty bad. The reason for that on that truck was because the air filter was completely clogged up. So what happens is the throttle body, it was backing up the carbon back into the throttle body, so it was all gunked up. So instead of taking it off just from the front, you got to take the whole thing apart and clean it from the back and the front, because the inside it's got a lot of areas where the sensors pick it up, and it'll make the truck stall and delay start and stuff. So once we got that fixed, it worked fine.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
A ver qué dice Alberto. ¿Qué dice? Yeah. What's your phone number, Sharky? You want to put it up there, Sharky?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's in private chat, and I'll put it on the thing, Sharky, si quieres.
Okay.
Ahorita, we'll put it on right now so you guys can have it. That's definitely a go-to, guys. We've been doing this car care tip shows for a while now, and some of our viewers have actually saved money by asking Sharky the questions, or they might ask Sharky a question, and Sharky goes ahead and says, well, you didn't ask about this question, you didn't ask about this question, and then gives them all that feedback, and in the long term, we'll save them some money, or tell them, you know what, you got taken by that particular invoice. Ni modo te cobraron mucho, ni te hicieron el trabajo the way it should have been done. So definitely, man, Sharky's the go-to guy here. Now, Sharky, how about like air conditioner? Do you work on air conditioner?
I don't because under the law you have to be able to recycle your Freon. Right. You can't just release it into the air. You're not supposed to, so I won't do that.
Right.
It damages the ozone layer.
So obviously heaters, air conditioners, no. So you basically work on everything that's mechanical.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: would you be able to like pull an engine or rebuild an engine in house?
No, not as a mobile mechanic.
Okay. In fact, nobody does, right? They have to go to a shop, something like that.
Some of them will, but
that would be a good situation.
No, right? if you live in a residential area, your neighbors aren't gonna like you doing that. So you gotta respect the community that you're working at, also.
Wow. So see, because I know we normally have a picture of you. Where is it? I don't know. There's a picture of you pulling a whole engine.
Yeah, that was at the shop. That was when I was still at the shop, and we were pulling engines and stuff. But Yeah, as a mobile mechanic, you don't have the what they call the cherry picker and stuff to pull the engines out and stuff. And you really can't do that on a residential. I mean, a lot of people that do mobile mechanics, what they'll do is they'll take it home with them and do it at their home. But you end up in the same situation where it's like if they have a shop and they're doing it at their house. And the problem is, once again, your car is at their disposal. Whatever long it takes,
Yeah,
it's in their
yeah, yeah.
hands.
That's true. That's true. That's true. It's at that point you're better off taking it to a shop or
Pretty much,
trading it
yes,
with and it's that kind of deal.
yeah.
It's the, I mean, which you are, you're licensed in the whole bit, but pues, certain things are best done. Like you wouldn't get a open heart surgery done in your house. You want to go to the hospital, that kind of
Right.
deal. It's the man. What about like stuff on the radiator? Do you do all kind of
Yes.
work on the radiator?
Yeah, the radiator, you can replace radiator, replace hoses, replace thermostats, replace the housing, check the coolant, check the reservoir, see if it's leaking. There's so many areas that you can check. And also there's a set for that to check the pressure in your radiator. And what you do, you pump it and it puts pressure into your radiator and it makes it seem like if it's under pressure and heat it up and then it'll leak. Because some of them won't leak if it doesn't have that pressure. So
Wow.
this set, basically you pump it and it puts so many pounds of air pressure and then it starts leaking. Then I can check and see where it's leaking from and replace whatever's wrong with it.
Órale.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's pretty cool. What about mufflers? I mean, do you
No, that would be welding, and I don't do welding.
Oh, okay. I thought they maybe just replace, certain
Yeah, no.
things. Yeah, that's right. Okay, cool. Wow. ¿Qué más? What other?
I have like today I had a call early in the morning, and this was around, I want to say 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and believe it or not, I answered the calls.
Damn.
And it was about replacing bushings for a car. The only thing is on some of these cars that they called me about, if they would have replaced the bushings with the arms, the lower and upper control arms, then I would have been able to do it. But since it was just the bushings by themselves, that requires for you to use a press to take the bushings out and then to put the new ones in. So I was like, I can't do that. I can recommend you to a shop to do it, but I can't do it. And not only
Now,
that,
in that case, was it best for them to do the whole service or
if
just the bushing
well,
itself?
the issue with that also was that they lived in apartments, a really nice
Ah,
apartment. So it's something that I don't like
you
getting
can't
into
do your
because
work.
I don't want the apartment management or anything to tell me, hey, well, you can't, even
You
if
can't work on it.
the person, yeah, says that it's okay, I've done this, I've done
Yeah,
that. Yeah, but you get yourself in a situation where you're gonna have trouble later, especially if you're gonna be working on
yeah,
bushings
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff, because you're now lifting a vehicle, you're banging on it, you're doing all kinds of noise and stuff. So yeah, it's not recommended. So I gotta
And
see
how
where
long would a job like that take?
you're looking
How long
at.
would a job like that?
If you have the shop, if you have the press and stuff, you're looking at maybe 4 hours, 5 hours, because it was both sides, upper and lower,
Wow.
and that's
But if they
you're
have to
talking
take
about.
everything out, like you said before,
You're
what you were
talking
talking about,
about maybe it's a $600 job, más o menos.
wow, at a shop, or
Yes.
that would be your at shops, which means you would charge
No,
what 400, 450. That
no,
would be
that
your
would be at the shop. Yes, it would have to be at a shop because of the press.
ándale, okay. Pero
And
si lo
on
hacen con
stuff.
todo,
Oh, with
huh?
everything, yeah, with everything, it's a lot easier. If they did the A frame with the A control arms with the bushings, then yeah, it would have been much faster. You're looking at maybe 3 hours or less, and maybe 300 and something, maybe half the
Cheaper.
amount. Yeah.
Wow, wow. And how come? Why would somebody do that? Is it because sometimes the mechanics don't tell them that this is the best? I know you don't need this part, but if
No,
you change this part, it'll come in with the other part. It'll be cheaper, and your car will be
no.
in better
Well,
shape. Is it?
the The reason they're going for just buying the bushings by themselves is because it's cheaper to buy the part that way. You buy the parts, just the bushings, they're going to be a lot cheaper. You buy the A-frames with the bushings, you're going to pay a lot more because now you're buying the A-frame, the metal with the bushings in it.
Right.
So that's a lot more money.
But including the service, it's still more expensive?
Well, no, the thing is, if you buy the fact of the matter, if you buy the arms with the bushings, you're paying more for the part, but less for the labor. If you buy just the bushings by themselves, you're paying less for the part, but more for the labor. It switches off.
So, pero pues, which one's cheaper for the consumer in the end? They're more about the same,
Neither,
no?
neither one. I mean, what they're doing is they're taking the cost out of themselves, but they're looking for a mechanic on the cheap to do it for them at a cheaper price. But that's a heck of a lot more work. So,
Yeah.
I mean, no shop is gonna get that job, and if they do, they're gonna want to charge you. It's gonna be a lot of hours because it's a lot of bushings. Upper and
And
lower,
probably they
it's
want to spending more than if they bought the part,
yeah,
probably.
right.
Wow. So sometimes this is why you gotta ask questions, because I would think that it would be cheaper to buy the whole assembly because it's still going to cost the same, and at least you have a brand new assembly, no?
Yeah, right now I have an expedition that's pending, and that one possibly in a couple of weeks, it's gonna be a lower control arm, and the customer went ahead and bought the bushing with the control arm, lower control arm, and he went ahead and bought the sway bars, the bushings for all that area, and the hubs, which is
Right.
pretty smart. Which is pretty smart because since he bought all those parts, and I'm already taking everything apart, he's gonna go ahead and just replace those parts with the same cost that I would have done those parts for.
Wow.
So he's saving himself some money.
In the long run, yeah, by
And that
spending
and
more
that
on parts, he's saving himself some money
yeah, and that we
overall.
are doing at his home. Yes.
Wow, and how much? And that'll be what? Maybe 3 hours of work or less.
Yeah, you're looking at maybe 4 hours.
And
Um,
it's a lot cleaner too, I bet.
well, it's at his own home, and he's got the space for it. So definitely, it should be an easy job. It's gonna be a nice shaded area, so no problem. I
But
already
it's a lot cleaner to do and a lot faster
yes,
to do.
yes, yeah, for that we do have the equipment. He had already bought the pulleys that he needed to remove some of the parts and stuff. So
Oh, yeah,
definitely,
Sharky. And then also when you go, do you have like a tarp where you put under the car for for I don't know, oil spills or whatever? I mean,
yes.
so that the driveway doesn't get messed up. I mean,
Oh, definitely, yeah.
okay, because that's another thing too. Oh man, I don't want a mechanic come here because me sucio me van a barrar todo el sidewalk, or I mean the driveway of oil and stuff.
Yeah, because accidents are gonna happen. You gotta be prepared for that.
Orale. So no, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely the way to go. Wow. What other stuff do you do? I mean, or you know what? Let me show you some pictures here. A ver qué sacas tú. Or let me show you this one here. Hold on. I know que me mandaste pero let's talk a little bit about here. Let me. Oh, okay. Well, let me about this. Mechanic scams and how to avoid them. What are some of the scams that are out there, man?
Some of the scams is and I've seen this is some mechanics they tend to do jobs that they go and try and fix something and they break something else, and they won't tell you that they broke another part or they damaged something. A lot of times it could be an accident, but they won't tell you, or it could be that deliberately something that they did for you to come back, for you to go back. Well, yeah, you fixed that, but now my car's doing this, because they're trying to get you to keep coming back to drop more money off. And the deal is we go back to making sure you can trust the mechanic you're going to, or get a second opinion. If you've got a mechanic and he has a tendency that every time you take your car, he fixes one thing and something else is going on, and then something else is going on after that, and the situation doesn't get better, then look for another mechanic. See if you get different results, because it will happen. To, well, you know what? It slows down for them, and they're looking for ways to bring in the money. And sorry to say it, it happens. You have to be ahead and think, hey, you know what? Maybe I should have somebody else check this, see if it's going to be the same conclusion. Maybe it's not the same part that's damaged, or they make you do the same part more than once. It does
Mm.
happen. It does happen.
Yeah.
O'Reilly's auto parts. You buy your starter, your alternator. It's happened before, even to me. To where I install a starter, and once I'm done, I find out the starter was no good.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
gotta you gotta take it off, and you gotta put another one on. Yeah, and then O'Reilly says, "Yeah, that's fine. You can replace it." Well, no, it's not fine, because I just put so much time to put it in, and I don't get that back. That's work that was
That's dead.
irrelevant. Now I gotta redo it. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's your worst fear, especially if that starter is inside an engine or inside a transmission, which there are cars out there that have starters inside the engine or the transmission.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah.
Wow. And this is why you got to know who to trust, and why it's important to get a second opinion, because
Yeah.
uh, I mean, maybe an opinion is $25, and the second opinion is another $25, and but at least, hey, you're losing $50, or maybe $25 are going to come back into the job, but rather to lose $25 and have a better idea of what you want to get into than to hire somebody. They charge you, five, 600, $800, $1,000, whatever it is, and they don't do the job right.
Now, if you're not sure what to do, let's say, your mechanic said, you know what, your car's this and that, and you feel overwhelmed and you just don't know, well, what do I do? I don't even know what I'm going to do now. Message us. Send us an explanation, in a message. Hey, you know what? This is what my mechanic said. What should I do next? We'll guide you. We'll help you as much as we can. We don't
Sure
charge
you
for
will.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't charge for that. We're here to help. So if anybody, you get a mechanic tells you, you know what, your car, yeah, it's gone. It's going to the recycle bin or whatever.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
tell us what the car does. Tell us what year the car is, what model, and we'll give it a look. Maybe it's something minor. Maybe it's something that the mechanic just trying to, a ver si me lo vende barato or whatever.
Yeah. Let me. Here's an interesting picture que me mandaste, Sharky. A ver. Tell me a little bit about this one.
Most of your stuff is in good shape, but you need an oil change and the brake and power steering fluids replaced. It'll be 218. Yeah, it's like I was telling you, some of these loop places, that's one thing they go for. They go for upselling, and they are expected to upsell. That's one thing that, you know what, they'll always do your oil change, and then they'll say, well, you know what, you need new wipers. Or you know what? You need new PVC valve, or you need a cabin filter, or you need an air filter, or there's a ton of things that they can add on. And the problem is not that you need it. It's the way they tell you. They tell you in a way that, hey, well, if you don't do it, your car's goners. You're gonna be paying thousands of dollars if you don't change it now.
Yeah.
It's not true. Some of the air filters, you open them up and they're not very dirty because you don't drive very much out on the dirt roads, or it hasn't been contaminated in any way. So all they're looking for is to sell a part, to sell an extra part, because it looks good on them. But a lot of blue places, that's what they shoot for.
Wow. And then
Uh,
a lot of times you might not even need the part.
right. Another thing, another gimmick that I see a lot is, oh, come on in, get an oil change. We're gonna give you a 21-point inspection, or we're gonna give you a so many point inspection. Guess what that is? That's just to get you in the door. That's just for them to say, okay, let me see what I can get out of here. Hold on. Let me open the hood. Let me check the air filter. Let me check the tires. Let me check. Well, you know what? They sell tires. Your tire on this side, yeah, it looks a little bit baldy on the side, on the inside, and it's kind of shaky, and you know, and they know very well that you may not know much about cars, but they're trying to make a sale. Or you know what? I hear squeaking, or I hear this, or I hear that. You know, you have to be careful. You have to double check. You know, if you've got somebody telling you, hey, you know what, your PVC valve, your air filter, your this, your that, you know, take it to another mechanic. It a lot of times for an inspection, they're not going to charge you if you drive up to a mechanic and say, or you call me and say, you know what, or you live nearby, I'll give it an inspection and I'll say, you know what, it's fine, or yeah, you do need it, you know. But that secondary inspection is going to confirm that, you know, okay, it does need that part, but it doesn't need this part. Instead
Wow.
of spending $200-300 on extra parts that you didn't need, you may end up spending $40, $50 to replace just that one part that needed,
Or sometimes no parts
or
because
sometimes no part.
they were just trying to sell you something because I mean I would say I'm not trying to I mean who gets taken advantage of, men or women?
Women, women.
Women, right?
The majority of the time, women, because they see women
Single
that,
moms
yeah,
or,
single
or
moms.
even women that are
Yeah,
married but they're the ones taking the car in.
yeah. Well, the problem is that a lot of single moms, a lot of women, they have one vehicle, or there's only one vehicle in the home. So their priority is to make sure that vehicle is working at all times.
Right.
And you know, by you telling them, hey, you know what, you need a PVC valve, you need this. Ya les estás metiendo miedo. You're frightening them because you're telling them, hey, I did the oil change, but I need to change this part, and it's $80-90. I need to change it. So now you know you're not paying this bill or that bill because I got to put a part when
Hmm.
maybe it didn't even need that part.
Right. Right.
And that's what I don't like. That people take advantage of people
Right.
that needed something to pay another bill and stuff. So that
But I'm
puts
sure
them
they
behind.
also take advantage of men because at the same time, you know, you're going to a mechanic and you're not a man that knows a lot about mechanics. Y te la pintan bien bonito and they say, well, dude, you know,
Yeah.
maybe it's this and that, or you know, oh, so you brought your wife's car in, you know, you don't want her to, you know, have an accident on the road because you know
Right.
the wheel's shaking a little bit or it's off balance or
Right.
en fin, lo que te digan.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, I think both men and female get taken in, but of course, yeah, you're right. Be women more because they assume they don't know,
Right.
and also
Now.
because they want to make sure the safety factor in women. I think is that you know, oh man, how am I going to pick up my little boy at school? How am I going to pick up my little girl at
Right.
dance class?
Right.
You know, ¿cómo los voy a llevar a la escuela mañana? That kind of deal, you know.
Exactly. Now another thing is a lot of people depend on the scanners over at AutoZone or O'Reilly's to scan their car and they
Wow,
get the
I heard that.
codes. Okay, you can't trust them. You can't trust those computers to give you the correct, because all they're shooting is codes. They're not telling you a description of what's wrong with the vehicle. You know, whereas a regular professional scanner will tell you, okay, you got this code, but it means that these are the parts that need to be checked. The other one's just gonna give you a regular shoot code. But remember, you're getting a code from somebody who sells parts.
Mm. Yeah, okay, I see. That makes sense. He's in business to sell you a part, so he's gonna tell you you need a part.
Right.
Wow, man. I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense. Unfortunately, it doesn't make sense until you hear it, you know,
Yeah.
or you hear it explained, you know, because we don't see it like that, you know.
Yeah.
Because it's introduced, and so you know the fear of, oh man, this car, I'm gonna drive up the valley and my car's gonna stay, you know, somewhere in between Brownsville and
Right.
McAllen, you know, that kind of deal.
Right. That's the situation. And if you travel a lot, well, you're gonna take the word of this computer, and you're gonna take the word of that lube guy or that tech guy that's changing your oil, or that other guy who came with a fishing box full of tools. You know,
Yeah,
this is where you have to trust your mechanic. You got to know who to go to, who to speak to. You know, like I said, I'm willing to, send me messages, send me this, send me that, ask me questions. And if I can help you, I'll help you.
yeah. Even if it's something that's even we could say dumb or whatever, because you're gonna learn. Because I mean, you know, where do I put the If I want to make my wipers to work, where do I put the wiper fluid? You know.
But you know what? No question is too dumb in my book. No
Yeah.
question is too dumb because we were all there. We were all there once.
Yeah.
So if you're asking, it's because you have a concern.
Yeah. I mean, I remember one time they put that joke is the free the breaker fluid coupon.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were like, "Oh, really? Like, and it was a joke, man, but it was,
It's still going around. It's still going around online. That
no saben. It's like, wow.
and you know what? The sad part, there is people still out there that they don't know much about cars, and the bad part is they take advantage of them.
Yeah. So we're gonna, ladies, listen up, ladies. We're gonna start selling designer brake pad shoes, designer brake pad shoes that Kim Kardashian has endorsed. So wait a minute, you want to? I'm kidding.
Ay, al rato nos va a hablar a Snap-on y CarQuest y todo el mundo que los hagamos sponsor. Que nos van a hacer sponsors. Yeah. No, it's okay. I don't need you guys.
No.
I don't need you guys. It's never a good thing.
Get the latest. No, wait. Talk to us a little bit about tires. Is there like what kind of tire to buy? I don't know. I know there's tires per car model, but you got your sizes.
Well, the tire situation is you've got the tires for different seasons. You got the tires for your all-terrain vehicles. You got the tires for your four-wheel drive and for your regular two-wheel drive cars. And some people have a tendency of getting all-terrain tires for regular cars too, and it's not a good idea because a lot of those tires that have a lot of knobs they're loud and they wear out faster on the road. So if your car's not meant to be off road, then you have no reason to be putting all-terrain tires on it because it's gonna be useless. It's just gonna wear those tires out, and they're more expensive. And also the tires, they sell tires for the snow that have spikes in them that come out. You don't need those here in the valley, and I saw some.
Only between January and the first 2 weeks of January. See.
Oye, well, nowadays you don't even know, right? De repente cae el freeze. It's a seasonal thing every 2 weeks.
I know, man. Change the tires.
No. Another word of advice on tires. Don't if your tire is going low, don't spray that stuff into the tire. That gunk, that green stuff that supposedly seals the tire. Don't do it. It makes a huge mess inside the tires for the guys who's gonna repair it, and they don't like working with tires that are filled with that crap because they gotta clean that stuff up, and it's gonna cost you.
Orale, I didn't know that. Well, I don't use it, but yeah.
Yeah, no, some people have a tendency of putting a lot of that stuff in there, and the problem is when they do have a flat tire that needs to be repaired, they don't want to touch that tire.
¿Y por qué no, Sharky? I mean, like, what happens?
That stuff is like goo, man. It's like glue. So basically, to patch a tire, you have to clean all that stuff off, and then you gotta clean it to where you grind it to the rubber plane, and if you don't, it doesn't stick. The patch will not stick.
Ah, okay, yeah. That's right.
So when you take the tire off, you got all that goo in there. I mean, you're gonna spend a lot more time trying to clean that junk off before you patch it. So they'd rather not even deal with it. So it's just a word of advice that if you're on the road and stuff, don't put that stuff on there. If you have to repair a tire on the road, they might not even want to touch it if it's got that stuff in it.
Orale. I did not know that.
What they do sell, they sell these little strips, these black little strips that come with a little tool that wherever there's a little hole, you can puncture it and twist it and pull it out. And when it does it blocks off that hole, and basically it lets you run your tire to where you're going to make it to somewhere where they fix it or patch it up. But that's supposed to be kind of like a temporary fix. Also, it's not
Yeah,
supposed
yeah.
to be
It's a
for
little
okay.
like a plug, like kind of like a
Yeah.
plug.
Now those are good to use. You can use those. But the goo, that stuff, don't use it.
Wow. Okay, that's good to know. Because wow. And then of course, if you have a flat, park it. Don't drive it because you're gonna mess up your tire. Am
Right.
I right? Yeah.
And your tire and your rim as well.
And the rims.
Yeah.
Nowadays rims are like 200-300.
Now, yeah.
Dollars.
Now, if you're in the in the dark in the middle of the night in a sketchy place, by all means drive home. Drive all the way to where there's a lighted area where you feel safer. Don't that I recommend. Don't go and start worrying about a rim at that time because your safety comes first.
Yes, yes. No, that's true. Eso sí es verdad. Órale, Sharky. No, pues está bien, man. It's a lot of good information. Um, I mean, is anything on batteries?
Batteries, don't go cheap, guys. Especially right now with the summer months coming up. Don't go cheap. If you need a battery, you need to replace one. Don't look for the cheapest battery out there because you know what? It may last you 6 months or a year. And I think some of those batteries that are cheapest are only doing like a year warranty. So cheaper is cheap for a reason.
Wait, let me ask you this. Hablando de batteries, what about recycled batteries que venden at $40?
I know I've seen
Those
those.
are
I've
the ones
seen
you're
those.
talking about?
No, I'm talking about the other ones like from Walmart that are like $50, sixty
The
dollars
brand
that
new
are
ones, right?
on for a
Brand new
year.
ones.
Yeah,
Sí.
yeah, that are just mediocre, and they say 1 year warranty only. Yeah,
Oye,
they
pero
got the one year. They
los que
got two
venden así in
free.
the shops on the outside que venden, for $40 and they're
Those are
refilled.
recycled. Yeah, those are recycled. Those are meant to be used just locally. Like if
Yeah,
you're traveling, if you're traveling out of state, you don't want to put those batteries in there. I
yeah.
mean, you need something secure. You need to get yourself a good battery. Get yourself with a 3 year warranty. A battery that is known to last.
What's a
Not
good price for a
not
battery,
something
sir?
price. No prices are all over the place, man. There's no
But
specific price.
bottom line, which would be the cheapest good price? Would you say maybe spend at least $100 for a battery?
It's gonna be over 100 for a good
Definitely over
battery.
100 for a battery.
Yeah, for a good battery, you're looking at least from 150 and up.
150 and up.
Yeah, but
Because it's gotta have enough juice to, first of all, your air conditioner, right, or your
yeah,
heater,
yeah,
and
but
of
you're looking at
course
a battery
your
with 3 years,
electronics,
3 years warranty.
and your all your electrical system in your vehicle. That's a lot of juice. It's not the batteries of yesterday's where we
Right.
didn't have a lot of electronics.
Yeah, nowadays you've got computers running your car, so yeah, you've got to have the battery, and it's being used. It really is.
Órale. And that's true because a lot of times we want to go cheap, man. And so we see a battery is like, okay, which battery goes with my car? Pues que esta. And I remember I used to always get diehards from Sears.
Hmm.
And those were pretty good, but even those were pricey. I mean, I remember seeing some for 350, that kind of deal. And I would go,
Yeah,
okay, well, no, I don't want to spend that much, but maybe that was the best one for the vehicle.
yeah. But I mean, those are quality batteries.
Nah.
I mean, nowadays you want to buy a cheap battery, that's what you're gonna get, a cheap battery.
Yeah. So where would you buy your battery from, Sharky? If you needed a battery, where would you go to buy a battery?
Well, me specifically, I'd go to O'Reilly's, but basically, because I do my own mechanic work and everything, and I know my battery's easy to install and take off, so I don't mind buying just a average battery. But I
Yeah.
don't travel that much. I don't travel that much, out of town and stuff. So it's just what I travel around here, and there's O'Reilly's all over the place.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Pero,
Now, for somebody who travels, I recommend a better brand.
cool, cool deal.
Este.
Este,
And also, when you buy parts for like brake pads or rotors and stuff, don't go cheap either. You go cheap on brake pads, you're gonna have squeaking. You're gonna have noises. You're gonna have because some of these brake pads are made cheap. Some of these are made ceramic, and that's the better brand, the ceramic ones. They don't make the noise. They don't squeal and stuff. So you want to go cheap on the parts, you're gonna get hit with
you get
cheap
what you
parts.
paid for. In other
Yeah,
words, yeah.
you end up doing the work more than once. in the short term.
Hmm. Orale. And then of course there's some vehicles that just have bad parts. It's every so often se descompone esa misma part for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it's been seen now to where um, AutoZone. I don't know what's going on with the quality, but we have noticed that a lot of parts come back 2 and 3 times. So we're always aware to check the parts before we install it or make sure that it's not broken. We got this one alternator not too long ago, and it was installed into a car, and I had never seen this before. We installed it in a car, and then I want to say 6 months later, the rods or screws that hold the bolts that hold it together, the
Hmm.
alternator, had literally broken off and fell into the little blade of the alternator and shredded the front. So it's a part that never should have came apart because those are remanufactured alternators.
Right.
So for it to happen, it's because they're using lower quality parts to replace those bolts and screws and stuff. And that's terrible because if I mean, come on, this is an alternator that shouldn't be coming apart in your vehicle, and it was literally opening up. So that's a no no. I had never seen that ever or heard of it. So that's something that I think they need to. I'm hoping that at some point, they start realizing that they're really going down in quality, and they need to think about that more than once because we're having to do some of these jobs many times over because of the parts being damaged.
Wow. Wow. Este. Uh, that's interesting, man. Wow. So,
I should
guys,
have taken a picture of that.
don't buy a cheap battery. For one, don't buy a cheap battery. Don't buy cheap parts. And you know what? It's an investment in your vehicle is a tool. It's something you're using every day. So invest in it. I mean, so hay que darle cariño. Hey, you know what? I mean, you wouldn't buy yourself a cheap pair of shoes. You buy, que los Jordans, whatever it is, ladies, you go out there buying all these different type of shoes. Hey, your vehicle needs brakes, buy the best brake pads. Your vehicle needs an oil filter, buy the best oil filter. It's the same thing. You treat your car nice, it's going to treat you nice and it's going to last you longer. Right? I mean,
Yeah, and I
hey,
want to
Hilda,
remind.
how's it going, baby?
And I want to remind y'all that when y'all go for oil changes, don't go for the cheapest oil change out there in the national brand. That hey, you know what? We got a big old sale oil change for $29.99.
No.
Do you know what kind of oil you're getting?
No, you
It may
don't
be no.
because the guy's working under it and you're up there sitting in the lobby and who knows? Who knows if they change your filter? Who knows if they just maybe they just even recycle your own oil or
The the
or
oil. Let me tell you, oil companies out there, they've got different qualities of oil that they sell to shops, they sell to lube places and stuff. So that's why they're able to offer these great discounted oil changes and stuff. But you're not getting the best oil out there. You're getting lower quality stuff. And that's going into your brand new car, or that's going into your car that is supposed to last you so many years.
now dealerships they do give you better oil.
They do. They have dealerships have higher quality and stuff, but they are held to the higher quality standards. But they also going to charge you an arm and a leg.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. But you're probably better off taking it to a dealership unless they know somebody like you
Right,
that can
right.
do it
And
for
somebody
them.
that's actually going to buy the oil, and that you're seeing what kind of oil you're getting.
Yeah, and then probably afterwards you can say you maybe have a trash bag where you put the oil and everything you got.
Yes.
Here you
Yeah.
go. Here's your trash of what I did. I can throw it in the trash can, but if you want to check,
Yeah.
this is what I changed.
Guys,
Am
today
I
I
right?
did. Yeah,
Am I right?
yeah. An example is like today. Today I did an oil change, and I took out the oil. That oil that I took out, guys, it looked like water. It looked like, I mean, it did not
Muddy
react like.
water or
Yeah,
just like
no, you would move that pan a little bit, and it had the flow of water. It didn't have the consistency of oil at all. and that's not good. That's like cheap oil. So I poured the new oil and stuff, and I was like, it's incredible what the difference in consistency. The oil that I was taking out, it was massively burned. It was overdone. So it took way too long. I don't know how long it's been that they've changed it, but she changed it. I told her, don't ever wait too long to change the oil like this, because this will damage your engine. And it really, I saw the oil and I was like, oh my god, this oil looks like water, and it looked darker than chocolate.
Wow, darker than chocolate. That's when it's supposed to be golden, ¿verdad? Most times it's
Yeah,
supposed to be
it
gold.
was dark. It was brown black. It was burnt.
Híjole.
But it was burnt, but it looked like water. That thing didn't even look like oil at that point.
No estabas, like
No, no, no,
syrupy.
no, no, no.
Wow.
So yeah, I was like, wow.
Yeah, they have
Yeah.
to change the filter as well. You're right, Hilda, because sometimes they don't. You know.
Hmm.
Bueno, el oil filter, ¿verdad? And then, of course,
Yeah.
ahí si le quieres cambiar el air filter, that's something
The
else. But
oil filter and also the gaskets that most of the cars nowadays they require a ring gasket that goes where the oil filter is. So all that's got to be changed, otherwise you'll have leaks.
I never heard of that. Eso sí nunca he ido.
Yeah, it already comes with the oil filter, but some people have a tendency like, I'll just leave the old one on there. No, not a good idea.
Yeah, yeah, sí es verdad. Wow. No, ve, está bien, está bien. ¿Qué más, Sharky? ¿Qué más hacen esto? How about man, I don't even know. Coolant, pues.
Yeah, well,
Well, the other thing too, like
right.
with coolant and stuff, should they be putting water into the little radiator, the little container, or should it be just pure coolant?
It all depends on the vehicle, man. Some vehicles call for all coolant, some vehicles doesn't matter. Can you say, Hilda? Yes, when you're single, they think you're dumb. Yeah, unfortunately, you have to be ahead of them and tell them, you know what, I'm just coming for the oil change. Tell me what else I need, and I'll get a second opinion. That's your best thing to do.
Right
And
off the
then,
bat, you're telling
yeah.
them, "Hey, I'm not dumb. I'm not stupid. Hey,
Well, you don't want to do that because
Well,
I
I mean,
mean,
but you're telling them, hey, you know what? I'm coming in for an oil change. If you need something else, I'm gonna get a second opinion on it. So ya saben que
yeah,
they have to
right,
take care of you right off the bat. You
right,
know,
yeah.
absolutely, yeah. Sí es verdad, especialmente, nice ladies, because or anybody. And I think another thing is, also teach kids about their vehicles because they get their first vehicles and a lot of times they mess up their first vehicles.
It's all about showing them the basics on just making sure the vehicle has water, that the oil's right, the brake fluid, just the fluids itself, to make sure that it's, because first of all, you want them to be safe, and you want them to know that if the brake fluid is low, it's putting you in danger because you're letting it go down way too low, or if the oil is low or it's burning oil, or the water, if it dries up, it's gonna overheat the engine, it's gonna damage the car. So yeah, I mean that's just the basics. You wanna get your kids involved to learn that, at least the basics.
Yeah. Oil, water, y qué más. Oil, water, y qué más.
The oil, the water, the brake fluid, power steering,
Dale. Go.
washer wiper.
What's your biker? There's a battery for your washer wiper. We sell that for $79.95.
The new salesman of Talk Show Central, RGB
Yeah, man.
style.
Send us. We have an auto club that we're selling memberships at $99.95. Sharky will go no matter where.
Don't
I'm
start
kidding.
don't start making up lies, man.
Ay, ay, ay. No más que we don't service San Antonio and we don't service Killeen.
Not yet.
Not
Maybe
yet.
later. Maybe later. Unit 16.
Unit 16, Killeen. Unit 14, San Antonio.
Yeah.
Unit Hummer. Ay, 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 ay. No, pues sí, sí es verdad. No, we're kidding
You
you.
know, yeah, you know what else? You know what else I see quite a bit? On
Dime,
the expressway, I see a lot of cars that are on the side of the road with the flashers on and stuff. I usually stop to try and help them and see what if they need anything, because I mean I've when I was growing up I experienced it too, where you know what, you're on the side of the road as
you
it
don't know
is,
what the heck you're doing.
you're scared because you don't the traffic's flying by, nobody gives a hoot, you know,
Yeah,
and you know what, the first thing on your mind is what do I do, you know, like oh my god, you know.
yeah.
So yeah, I stop and check and see if they need any help, or at least to get them off the road, or go get them, you know, they need gas or whatever. But I've been seeing a lot of vehicles out there, and I know that some insurance companies, they offer roadside service, and I'm in the process right now of maybe connecting with one of the insurance companies for the roadside service, to where I'm going to be receiving calls and stuff on behalf of their customers, to help them out and stuff. So that's going to be another part that I'm probably going to be picking up.
Wow, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
Hector, call her Sharky.
that's doing jump starts, batteries, gas. You know, if somebody runs out of gas, or also lockouts and stuff. So that's still on the program.
No, pues sí, and of course, speaking of like insurance, guys, we got to throw in a little plug to our old buddy, you know,
Definitely.
Hector from State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is here.
State Farm is there.
State Farm is there. I don't know. Hector, hola que te vaya bien, Hector.
Fire him, Hector. Fire him. I recommend you
Hector's
to
our
fire him.
sponsor, man. He sponsors the food up in the skybox. Ay, aquí está en el skybox. Está Alberto, está Norma, and I know.
Sometimes we're laughing when I'm with other mechanics and stuff, because a plane flies by over us, and I'm like, hey, le está fallando el coil number 3.
Ay, 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 ay. No, oye, and you work on trucks, you work on cars, do you work on 18-wheelers? Like
No, that's diesel.
That's diesel. So you
Yeah.
basically just work on all trucks and all cars. Now, all brands?
No, I don't. There's a lot of vehicles that are hybrid, or like Teslas and others, that I don't touch. They've got those cars. They have a whole different system, and what they do, they have big old batteries behind the seats and stuff, and you have to know what to disconnect, what to do, because either you burn something out or you get fried yourself. So I'm not gonna do that.
Right. But sí, pues son modern cars,
Yeah.
so basically
Yeah,
all old cars, No, well, let me ask you this. Do you work on Volkswagens?
I prefer not to. The bus wagons are pretty finicky, and the parts are extremely expensive.
All right.
So
do you work on Jaguars?
No, I don't do those.
All right.
Those are dealerships.
Do you work on Cadillacs?
Yeah, Cadillacs, yes.
Yeah,
Nissans, yes. Nissans, yes. Your Nissan, yes, Royal.
Of course,
I know where you're going. I know where you're going. I know where you're going.
Nissan.
You're going to your Nissan. Hey, we understand. It's a Nissan. I know it needs help.
No. No. But like maybe like what about BMWs? Do you work on BMWs?
Yeah, we work on BMWs.
Órale. What else? What other brand out there that's
there's all kinds of brands out there that are still,
they're kind of funny, because como dices tú, the Volkswagens are kind of funny, they're different technology and different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because some mechanics come in and they'll get into anything just to get the job. Luego they break stuff or they don't know how to fix it.
They burn something else, and then they say, no, estaba quemado. No, it wasn't. They burned it.
Yeah.
Especially if you got a hybrid and stuff, or you got an electric car, don't let them go change the oil. An electric car.
Doesn't have oil change again.
No.
Really? There's no oil change for an electric car?
It's like a golf cart, man. It doesn't have electric. It doesn't have the oil.
Oh, but I don't know. Yo no soy mecánico. Ya ves, I could have bought
Oh my God, I can imagine you buying a freaking
electric car,
Tesla
and
and
then I
going to the
going for
oil
an
and
oil
saying,
change y me
hey, I need
cobran
for
y
you. Oye, oye, y te van a decir, it needs the air filter, it needs the PVC valve, it needs.
hey, we'll fix it, man. I need it for my car. Fix it, you know. Sí es verdad, porque no sabes.
You know what, Royal? I'm gonna teach you the basics of a car, man.
It's got 4 wheels. Yo no sé, yo
You
nomás
know
le
what
meto la
the
llave y lo
no
volteo.
no the first lesson is gonna be the P is for park, the R is for reverse, the H for neutral.
I know that one. I know that
Oh,
one.
okay, just making sure.
Yeah, when you put it in R, it's to take you to the restaurant. That's what that
Ah,
is.
where at? Where at?
At Carolina's! Go, pata. That's patitas.
Talk about a plug-in. Talk about a plug-in.
We're
Carolina.
always plugging in our businesses, man. Any businesses out there that want to come in, we'll definitely talk about your business and all that, man. And so we'll plug you in for the rest of the. It was today. Hector got a free plug in. So
Of course.
no, Hector's cool, man. We need to bring him back for another insurance.
Yeah, definitely,
It's
definitely.
been a while. It's been a while.
We're getting
It's,
to that season again now. I don't know when hurricane season starts, but we're getting close. And
sí.
with this and with all this freaky weather that's been happening, we don't know what to expect for the summer months.
It's true. Well, a couple of weeks ago, man, we had those wings were pretty bad. There was a
Apparently,
big, massive. I have a big old tree in the backyard, and it knocked down this big old branch. And actually, it was like last week, or I guess, or the week before. And then finally, anoche during the day, I had some time off. I got my chainsaw, and big old parts, man. I drag them over, throw them over the fence, this area
yeah.
where they pick them up. But it's his own big old stack, man. It's like,
Yeah,
wow.
well, apparently the winds were up at 60 miles an hour,
Yeah.
60 plus wind gust.
Se movía.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true, man. So lucky it was that branch that it found.
So what's happening for the rest of the week for you?
The rest of the week, of course, chess lessons. Tonight, guys, we're having a midnight show. Ruby Ann and myself are hosting regular, well, not regular, but every once in a while we'll do a midnight show and it involves some music. We're going to have a special guest that I don't even know about. On Tuesday, guys, the Tuesday show, we're going to have Alejandro Paz. He is the founder and CEO of Project Pay It Forward. This is in La Feria.
La Feria.
Yeah, La Feria, and he is doing amazing things for the community, especially those community members that are short of funds, maybe even homeless, need jobs, need help with resumes, need help with even getting their GEDs and all that. This dude is doing he's doing an incredible job, and we're gonna have him, so he can talk about all the stuff. He has a thrift store, and the prices are very, very low for those people that can't afford it, quite frankly. And, so he's going to talk all about that. On Thursday, I'm not sure yet, and I'm not sure we're on Sunday. But the following week after that, I'm going to have a music show on Sunday, December, ¿cómo se llama? April the 10th, and we're bringing this guy Javier Guerrero, Ruby, and my join us. But for sure, we'll have my new music co-host Hilda Peña, and it's gonna be great, man. And another thing, we are starting tomorrow morning. Of course, I have the regular Attitude y Pasión with Erika Leo at 8 o'clock a.m. in the morning, Central Texas time, and 9 o'clock a.m. Miami time. But at 10 o'clock in the morning, we're starting a new show with Hilda and myself, we will be hosting this one, and it's the Monday brunch. And it's going to be a very cool show that we're going to develop. It'll be in English because the morning show with Erika de la O is in Spanish, and so at 10 o'clock we're going to do an English version of whatever. We're going to have all kinds of interesting topics. We will probably bring some music artists, and we'll probably talk about some other stuff. So a ver qué pasa, but we're gonna definitely have a fun time, and we're trying to just do different things to see how it appeals to the market, especially pues a ver qué pasa, because sometimes people need something to do in the mornings, and so we were figuring I had the time off, she had the time off,
Yeah.
and so we're doing this show. The Sharky might join us every once in a while, probably not because he's working out there on the road.
What I might do eventually is start having some lives every now and then to kind of show you all what I do out there. So
yeah, and I think that's very useful because a lot of times, unless you know about mechanics, you don't understand it. It's all, como dicen, it's all Chinese to me, because there's certain things you understand, or maybe, you grew up, your dad, you were helping your dad work on the cars and all that, but cars are not like the ones, we grew up with, they have changed so much, I mean, there's, it's just a different beast now, totally. And it's treated
and
different.
it's only going to get more stranger because these electric cars and stuff. I mean, you're talking about a whole new breed of technicians that they have to know a lot more on the electrical side than what we do now about the combustion engine. So
Yeah.
it's a whole different ball game, and it's going to be different from here forward.
Yeah. Es verdad, por eso dicen the mad scientist, it's like, I mean, the auto mad scientist, because you truly are a wizard at working on cars, it's like, it's I mean, it's really a challenge, it's, and so Sharky, yeah, that's why, I don't know, this is why we're doing the show, because, we hear stories, I hear stories all the time of people, getting screwed, el mecánico took me for $1,000, $500.
Yeah.
Or I pagué $800 y el carro todavía está igual y no se compone. Or
Yeah.
You're assuming it's a limit when sometimes it's not a limit. But there's cars that are limits, right, Sharky? Que si hay carros que son limits.
Yeah, there's cars that have recalls ever since they get off the showroom, and unfortunately, they go through engines, they replace parts, and still they have issues. But if you get a good car and it's been working for you, and then you take it to a mechanic, and it's all of a sudden you're having issues after issues after issues, and you think it's a limit car, maybe it's not the car, maybe it's your mechanic.
Yeah. If your car was good at one time, and you take it to a mechanic, it should be good again.
Yeah. That's where second opinions come in handy. Just change your mechanic at least once or twice and see if you get different results.
Nah. And now, let me ask you this. Or sorry, because I just thought about this. Okay, I go get a job done. I don't know what job, but I go get a job done, or this guy tells me, hey, this is going to be it. It's going to cost me this much money. I take it to you. How should I approach you with it? Should I tell you what the problem is, or should I tell you, can you just check the car for me? What should I do?
No, you can be honest and just say what the problem is, and if they can diagnostic, then they can diagnose it with the computer scanners, and we can match it up. And basically, what we're doing is working together to see if we come up with the same results as the mechanic. Now, if you're going to be hiding the situation from the mechanic, you're defeating the purpose.
Okay. Because también I've heard that other one too, where hey, just take it to the mechanic, a ver qué le haya él.
Yeah, but no, I mean, but I mean, what we want to know, we're trying to see if confirming to what they tell you, if it's true. Then what I'm going to do, if I come up with the same conclusion, I'm going to say, you know what, I'm coming up with the same thing. In other words, it's going to need that part. It's going to need this situation. This is the situation. It's leading us to this problem.
And at that point, Sharky, would you quote them a price as to how much it would cost to fix that?
Yeah, well, I'd give them the options. I'd give them the options because there's several ways to go about it. Sometimes if it tells you the code, well, it needs this computer or it needs that part, you gotta test what leads to that part because it's not straight to a certain piece that you need. It's what led to it. In other words, is the wiring harness good? Is the fuse box good? Is everything else working fine? Because you don't just want to replace a part and then it ends up burning it again because the problem was in the wiring harness or in the fuse box and it was shorting out and giving you an issue of burning your computer.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense. That makes
you
sense.
always want to fix everything that leads to that issue.
Wow. No, no, sí, verdad, because sometimes the part's messed up because something else is messing up, and
Right,
see,
right,
wow, that's true, and a good mechanic will tell you that, and a not so good mechanic will just charge you because you're gonna come right back. He knows that you're gonna come back with the same
right,
problem in 3 or 4 months, and you're gonna think, pues es que ya le tocó otra vez, you know.
right. Or blame it on the part. No, pues it was a bad part.
Yeah, and you can only blame it on the park maybe once, maybe
Right,
twice, but
right.
or maybe just
No,
once.
that this
But at
is
once he took you for $800 for the first time, and then he's going to take you for another $800,
yeah,
and
yeah,
maybe the second time that he'll say, by the way, another reason why it's messed up is because of the original part that was wrong, and then he'll fix that, or maybe he'll just fix it again halfway or whatever. Uh, wow, man, that's why you guys get a bad rep.
yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, because we're labeled with everybody who did the damage.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Except Sharky. Sharky's a
All
good
right,
guy.
guys. Pues ya, we're gonna call it quits. Ya
We're
va a
gonna
ser
call it quits porque ya los pasamos de tiempo, guy. Ya tenemos que pagar. Hay que pagar más taxes for
ya,
this
nos
shit.
estaban cobrando overtime.
No, pues está bien, Sharky. Any last words, Sharky?
No, just take care. Keep safe out there, and hey, the traffic's been kind of crazy, so keep your eyes open. And people, I don't know why they're speeding. They're not using their blinkers. I'm seeing a lot of that. I don't know what's going on, but people are driving crazy right now. So be safe out there.
Cool deal. Well, guys, we're gonna hit the show. We will see you. Have a good one, Sharky. Los vemos. This is Roy with Talk Show Central RTV Style. This was Sharky's Car Care Tip Show. We will see you. Have a wonderful evening. Buenas noches.